Hello, this is Sana Garcia.
I'm Laura Conde.
Hannah Pataina.
And here on November the 27th, 2017, we are here to interview Dr. Fedell. Dr. Fedell, do you give permission for us to interview you and record you on this day?
I do, as long as you don't call me doctor.
Okay. Professor?
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay. So the first question would be, what is your tie with the Alley Theater?
My tie with the Alley Theater, I am an actor-performer there, but mostly my tie is I'm a fight director and choreographer. So every bit of violence that happens on the stage, every sort of theatrical violence that happens on the Alley stage is usually choreographed by me. I work with the actors personally and the directors and maybe sometimes the scenic designers and costume department and prop department to sort of develop like a realistic-looking fight scene, but also very safe.
Okay, that's very interesting. The second question is, can you recall the experience of first being introduced or visiting the Alley Theater?
Yes, first time I ever went to the Alley Theater, I was in middle school, and I went to go see Christmas Carol, like we all did. Like you got on your bus, and your Goodman bus, and you like went there and you watch Christmas Carol. After that, I kept working. There was an actor at the Alley that did a sort of workshops for UIL One Act for high school, and he would come and to our university and sort of like give us coachings on our one act play festival. So we would, after that, he would also then usually invite us, his favorite show, to see a performance at the Alley. So we got to see a couple performances when I was in high school.
In what aspects has this theater changed your life, and has it changed the way you view the arts and entertainment industry?
In aspects of it has changed my life. I mean, it's been the primary theater of Houston, which is, I've been in the theater scene of Houston for a long time now, and everyone's goal is to get to the Alley. Everyone's goal is to at least get, once they've gotten to the Alley, they need to go, okay, my goal is to get out of Houston, go somewhere else, if that's their goal. But once they go to the Alley has changed my life. It's changed my answer that question. It hasn't really, I guess it would, like, personally, it hasn't really changed my life, but it has been an impact on my life being the theater of the city of Houston, being the main theater that we have, primary theater. So it's very much a part of my life. I don't know it's changed my life so much, but yes, it's very much been a part of it. Okay. And
why should we learn about the Alley Theater or educate ourselves on what the Alley Theater is?
The Alley Theater, it's your opportunity to get professional theater in the city of Houston. There's a lot of theater in Houston. A lot of it is community run, though. It's not saying that community theater is bad. It's definitely not bad. But if you want, like, you know, the bigger budgets, the more star power, the better directors, or the accomplished directors and the accomplished actors, and the money available that you would most likely see on a play on Broadway in New York or London or Chicago, the Alley Theater is your opportunity to see that, and your opportunity to sort of get a taste of what that actually is like, without actually having to go to Chicago, New York, or London.
Is there a play that you've seen at the Alley Theater that you would say like it's the best play that you've seen so far?
The best production I saw at the Alley, the best production I ever saw at the Alley Theater personally there was a production of they did a production of Twelfth Night. It was a Shakespeare play that they did about 10 years ago, and it was really well produced, It was everyone was on point with what they were doing. My favorite show I worked on there was a show called Hand to God. Okay. That was a play about a puppet in West Texas, like sort of it would take place in a basement in a church in West Texas. Okay. So the play itself was about like sort of like when you went to when you were in Sunday school, you did puppet shows. So this was like these kids, but one of the puppets gets possessed by the devil and takes over the kid, and there was a lot of fights and a lot of craziness going on. So that was my favorite show to work on there. Yeah.
Would you consider the Alley Theater an important part of the Houston community, and why? If so, why?
Like I said, that's sort of like you've already sort of answered that question with the fact that it's your opportunity to see professional theater. The Alley is a Tony Award winning facility, and it houses talent from all over the country and all over the world. So it's an international credit. It's very much important for Houston to have that. Us being one of the biggest markets in the country, it's very important for us to have a theater. And
how different do you think Houston would be without the Alley Theater?
how different?
Yes, would it change dramatically in the way that like we are able to see productions?
Well, it would change a lot for me. I don't know. I can't speak for the entire city, but it would change a lot for me if we didn't have if all our theater was community theater. That would, and that's kind of the way Austin is. Austin has a lot of community theaters. They don't really have a big theater scene, which is why they're more based in films, I believe. Like if you want to go to Austin, and want to work in film, Austin and Dallas both are like areas for commercial and stuff like that. Houston is more of a hub for theater, and so if the Alley Theater was not here, what would that do to the landscape of Houston? I mean, it would affect the education of our students, of the people around the city about what theater actually is. Here at UH downtown, that's the only theater they're going to get, and that's they came to my class, they walked into my class never seeing a play, or not knowing what a play is and not knowing where to go see a play. So I'm okay. Well, we've worked with the Alley for a long time. I worked with the Alley, so we give opportunities for students to see plays for productions for free.
That's amazing.
So it's an opportunity for to educate the student on what theater actually is, what do we do here.
Yes, okay. Do you expect the Alley Theater to grow? If so, how so?
Well, it is growing. It just grew in the past year. They redid their entire building. They remodeled the entire thing. So it has grown. Whether or not do I know it's going to grow in the next couple of years, I hope so. I hope to see it grow bigger, grow more. We'll see what happens. I want to see what I would like to see is more. I would like to see. I think what would help them grow more would be more competition. Right now, like they're the only ones, so they're competing against they're not competing against any theater. There's Tuts, but that's all musical based and a lot of Broadway shows. But they're not like competing. I think a competing theater would motivate them a little more sometimes to move faster. Like we need to compete with this. Yes. Otherwise, I don't see them. I see them growing, but not at a slower pace.
Okay. You already answered that question. What was your reaction once you heard or saw that the Alley Theater was affected by Harvey?
I was working. I was supposed to be doing a show there, so I was. We were doing a show called Cleo, and I was doing fights for it. And I saw it. I was like, okay, what's this going to do to my show? But the show got moved to the spring. So, and then they're back. They're already back up and running. I wasn't really too worried because they had been to They had just, while they were doing their remodel, they were at U of H. So it was just, hey, we're going to be at U of H again for a couple of months. We've done this we did this a year ago. It's fine. So I wasn't too worried about them in that aspect. When I did hear about it, though, I was just, when I saw it, I was like, okay, I was emailing, what about the show I'm working
on? Were you afraid of the impact the damages would have on the production scene of Houston because of the absence of the theater, since we didn't have like that the Alley Theater?
I wasn't worried too much. Like I said, I'm very active with the theater scene and very active with social media, and I was worried more about the opera than I was the Alley. The Alley was a little higher up. The Opera's building is still under construction. So I was really more worried about them and them being able to bounce back. They've been able to. They're performing at the George R. Brown. But the Alley I wasn't worried about too much, and I knew the downstairs. I know the facilities very well. Alley's different. The Alley is kind of a different setup. Most like the opera set up where the costumes and props are downstairs in the basement. The Alley is not like that. So everything at the Opera was flooded. So it's like that was underwater. The Alley is up. It goes up. The only thing that's on the bottom floor of the Alley is that black box theater that they have down there. So I knew that was okay, and that theater is pretty malleable, and it can come back. So I wasn't worried about, but they're upstairs props because they have costumes on like the 7th and 8th floor, and then like their shop is on the 16th, so it goes all the way up. So I wasn't too worried about them so much.
Okay, and those are all my questions. Do you have any further questions? Okay, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for letting us interview.
Thank you.
You guys